How's it going, guys? A DragonStar production here, back with another video, and in this edition of Dragon Ball What Ifs, we will be covering one of my most popular what ifs, and sadly, the end to that popular what if being what if Bardock killed Frieza. And because this video will be pretty long itself, I'm not going to go in a description about part 1 and part 2, so make sure that you check the link down below to find those two videos. That being said, let's jump straight into the intro. We left off with Bardock on the ground, barely breathing, couldn't even grasp anything around him. He was dazed, very injured, but he also noticed a blur of purple walking towards him. He couldn't make out what it is, but he also couldn't hold his head up to see it once more. Bardock would then wake up inside a healing chamber, realizing that he was healed, and he was forced to wear a green armor suit after getting out due to not knowing where his was, so Bardock just had to make do. However, he also had no clue where he was. The layout of the ship that he was on was way different from any of the ones that Frieza had, or even King Cold. It would take a long time for the Saiyan to travel out and explore, but when he does, he recognizes absolutely no one. He then sees a group of 3 soldiers and approaches them. Bardock asked them where the hell that he was, but was ignored by every single one of them. Bardock would then react by shoving one of the soldiers until smacking the other one and then forcing one of the soldiers to speak up. When the soldier does, all he mentions is Cooler took him and all the Saiyans, and that they're heading somewhere called Earth, and that Cooler called it a reunion. Bardock doesn't believe this could possibly be a nice gesture from Cooler, so he does manage to finally come across somebody who he knows, that being Nappa. But Nappa is really Captain Ginyu at this time. Bardock asks Nappa what he knows, which, because he's Ginyu, knows a good bit, but instead says something about him bringing them to Earth. Instantly though, this pointed a red flag right in Bardock's head, because this is the second time that something has been brought up about Earth, and Bardock knew that nobody was supposed to know about Kakarot, or he didn't think anybody knew about Kakarot. Bardock then asked Nappa, where's Gine, Raditz, and the other Saiyans? Nappa Ginyu replies, but tells him the wrong direction. Bardock has no choice but to take the direction that Nappa had followed and gave him. Bardock follows a long hallway until reaching a door. This, though, wasn't where the Saiyans was, because it had a Cooler logo on it. Bardock then realizes that this was a trap, but he opened the door anyway. And as soon as the door swung open, Cooler had some goons grab Bardock, restraining him from moving. Cooler then proceeds to walk once more, telling him that he was the blur that he's seen on the ground back after fighting his father. However, when Cooler starts to talk again, he is cut off by Bardock. Shut your mouth! But as we know, Cooler doesn't do that. Instead, Cooler replies, that's a lot of talk from someone who has no clue where the people he's been fighting for even are, let alone yourself. Bardock smirks as he screams into Super Saiyan. Bardock then breaks free from the 2 people that are restraining him. He turns around and places his hand right on their stomach, and he screams as he powers up a blast that drives straight into each of their stomachs, blasting them into the next room, killing them. Bardock then slowly turns back around to Cooler, but Cooler doesn't look slightly intimidated. Cooler once more speaks. You see, unlike my brother and father, I have prepared for this mythical Super Saiyan. I knew that some pure-blooded Saiyan would eventually conquer this, and I knew that my pure form wasn't enough to beat this so-called legend. So like you, Bardock, I have broke my kind's limits, and I'd like to show you my true, final form. Cooler would then power up an incredible transformation into a fifth form. Bardock was incredibly stunned by this, but luckily the trip to Earth was finally over. So as soon as Cooler powers up and Bardock goes Super Saiyan, the rest of the Z Fighters are all coming to see what they sense, because it's two incredible powers that they've never felt before. And I know what you're asking, what Z Fighters am I talking about? Well, I can't skip too far because Goku still has to be at least decently young, but however I didn't want him to be a kid in this scenario, so having a couple years and time passed, I decided that using the gap between defeating the Demon King Piccolo and the 23rd Budokai would work perfectly fine. So this means that the Z Fighters would be Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, and we'll even say Ten Shinhan would come about too. However, skipping right back into the fight, Bardock and Cooler was battling it out. Cooler goes for a punch, but Bardock slides out of the way and then sweeps Cooler's feet, but Cooler reacts with this by using his tail to grab Bardock by the waist and throw him backwards. Bardock then rushes back at Cooler trying to land a hit, but neither one can land one on each other, just both counteracting everything that each other do. Bardock even attempts to use some Ki Blast, but Cooler is even able to dodge them and return with his own. Cooler, realizing that this isn't going anywhere, so rushed out of the hole that Bardock created before by blasting the two soldiers through the hole. Cooler is going straight for the other Saiyans as he's yelling, "Proceed with the plan!" Bardock, who is flying right behind Cooler, is caught off guard by over 100 soldiers lunging at him. Cooler manages to escape due to the other weaker Saiyans. Meanwhile, Goku, Krillin, Ten Shinhan, and even Yamcha were all walking onto the ship that was a full-blown battlefield. The four Z Fighters look over, and they notice Bardock fighting off many soldiers around their power levels due to Cooler having to recruit his own members because King Cold obviously didn't hand down the Empire to him. So Bardock, during all this fighting, happens to see someone who looks exactly like him, instantly realizing that's Kakarot. And instead of pulling a sappy moment, I think it'd be much better if Bardock said something like, "You just gonna let me fight them all, or you gonna fight too?" Goku, having really no clue who this guy is, but he does feel some type of connection with him, so convinces the others to help him and fight all the soldiers. Bardock, although not needing the help, just wanting to see what his son was capable of in battle. Krillin and Yamcha fought together while Goku and Ten Shinhan were able to hold their own against some of the soldiers. Goku would then circle around a group of them and then unleashes a Kamehameha, which is way stronger than himself. Bardock was quite impressed by this, but quickly flies off to try and find Cooler, who was sneaking his way in Bardock's eyes. However, before the others could join, Goku turns back to the other guys. "Go grab some Senzu beans. We'll need them for sure in this fight." Meanwhile, Bardock and Goku search the ship. However, during their searching, Cooler had already found this other Saiyans and started manhandling all of them. Cooler just throws them around. He starts to power up a humongous blast, but Vegeta, not really knowing, stalls by talking. "Go ahead, kill me. I deserve a worthy death." But before he could finish talking, Goku would be coming over there because he senses energy, and he helps guide Bardock straight to Cooler. Bardock also believes that this is a cool technique that his son has. But then, getting over there, Bardock would kick Cooler straight through the ship, the two now on Earth soil battling it out. Bardock was giving everything he had into the fight, but Cooler's evolution was just so strong. Bardock was feeling incredibly drained, but couldn't give up, so launched back onto the attack. During the fight though, Gine would also notice her son Kakarot just watching the fight. Gine runs over to hug her son, but a blast comes rushing straight towards her. However, she just closes her eyes, and when she opens them, she sees her oldest son Raditz in front of her, but he falls face first onto the ground, dead. Gine is completely in awe, shocked by what happened, but then Gine looks up and it was Nappa, but Vegeta steps in. "Hello, Ginyu. Glad I get to kill you." Vegeta and Nappa Ginyu battle. Ginyu during this battle was kind of regretting switching with Nappa because he wasn't as strong as Vegeta. Vegeta was just destroying him. Vegeta eventually gets tired and just builds a blast that completely evaporates Ginyu right then and there, eliminating him from the picture completely, sadly, as well as Nappa. Bardock could barely catch his breath though in the fight with Cooler. Cooler was just bullying Bardock, mocking the Super Saiyan legend. Bardock falls, breaking, unable to stand, but somehow, someway, Bardock finds a way to dig just a bit deeper, one knee at a time getting up. But Bardock makes eye contact with Cooler. Bardock speaks for all of the Saiyans.
I can't give up. I'm here for a reason that you will never understand. I have to save us at all cost. You and your twisted family has held us down for too long.
However, Cooler would just laugh, a very cocky one at that. Oh, that's just it. I agree, Bardock. That's why we're here on Earth, the home of all your family, the last of the Saiyan race. Let me give you a little flashback so you understand. Once you blacked out after fighting my father, I vowed to get my own justice, proving I can get the job done. I ordered my entire army to take those who cared for all things, thanks to Captain Ginyu telling me. I then proceeded to fly into space and blow up the planet you Saiyans call home. Now I plan on doing the same to your son's dear planet. But this is when Bardock breaks. Bardock, though, before launching, is yelled at by Goku. Eat this! Bardock catches it, and it's a Sensu Bean, thanks to Tenshinhan, Yamcha, and Krillin, who has arrived back on the scene. Bardock eats it and feels completely energized. He feels so much stronger than he ever has before. But he wasn't finished. Bardock continued to power up. His aura grew bigger and bigger, as well as his body. Bardock was doubling in size, and his power was increased. Bardock was in Grade 2 Super Saiyan, or Super Bardock. Bardock locks arm with Cooler, but his power now was way too much for him. Bardock throws Cooler into some rocks, following with a rushing knee to the gut. Cooler was feeling helpless, but Bardock wasn't letting off the attack. He was pounding on Cooler. Every punch created a crater bigger and bigger. Bardock then would leave another monologue.
You prepared for the legend of a Super Saiyan, but I've pushed beyond. I broke limits, but most importantly, I'm going to break you. You've caused so much pain and torture. I won't let you breathe another second.
Bardock places his hand on Cooler's head.
Final Spirit Cannon!
This was the final attack that ended the war. It was now over. Bardock falls out of Super Saiyan Grade 2, panting, trying to catch his breath, and Goku walks over once again, handing him a Sensu Bean. Right after giving him the Sensu Bean, Goku would just stare at Bardock as Gine would come up crying. Gine then would grab Goku and just hug him super tight, where Bardock would explain who they are. Goku, as long as everyone else, was pretty surprised to learn that he was a Saiyan and not an Earthling. But Bardock would then ask his son, why doesn't he have a tail? Goku then replies that it got cut off after turning into a great ape. Bardock though shrugs it off and says there's no point, that he doesn't need it, that he can just learn Super Saiyan. Meanwhile, Gine would still be extremely upset because her firstborn Raditz had sacrificed herself for her to live. Reminding Goku of the Dragon Balls actually, so Goku tells them that with the Dragon Balls they can revive Raditz. Goku flies alongside Bardock to Bulma's for a Dragon Radar, and it wouldn't take very long and they would find all 7 of the Dragon Balls. They proceed to summon Shenron when Goku tells Bardock to make the wish. Bardock turns to the dragon and says, I wish everything the Cold Force destroyed was back to normal. Shenron makes the wish reality. Raditz reappears instantly, hugged by Gine. Also, though, King Vegeta, Tora, and the rest of Bardock's crew was also again alive, as well as the Saiyans' whole planet, Planet Vegeta, because Bardock made the wish very vague, talking about the entire Cold Force that applied to Frieza and Cooler. Bardock then asked his son if he was coming home to Planet Vegeta. Goku simply replies, I am home. Goku would stay on Earth while Bardock, Gine, Raditz, and Vegeta all head back to their home planet. Gine would be upset leaving her baby boy, but however very happy to leave him, so happy. Gine rushes out the window and tells, once again a familiar scene, "Don't forget us, Kakarot!" Just like she once did before, except calling him, this time, Goku. After correcting herself, "Don't forget us, Goku," laughing because her son has a different name than what she birthed her. Bardock just smiles as he props his feet up for the ride. Meanwhile, Goku would be pushing himself 1,000 times harder after seeing his dad have this incredible transformation called Super Saiyan. Bardock, on the other hand, would be the strongest of all the Saiyans. He would lead the Saiyans on missions, although now aiding those who were controlled under someone else, just like how the Saiyans were with the Cold Force. And also, just to mention, because Captain Ginyu body swapped with Nappa and has nothing really to do with the Cold Force, Nappa is still in Captain's body, so he's quite the laughingstock of all the Saiyans. However guys, this is where I'm going to be officially wrapping up this series. Bardock has officially killed Frieza, King Cold, and Cooler, and the only way that I could possibly continue this what if would be by changing the name to What If the Saiyans Survived, but I'd rather not change the name of this what if. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the what if. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on that bell for all notification and alerts for video uploads. And don't forget to join the Discord because we do a whole lot of fun stuff there, Dragon Ball discussions, game nights, debate nights, and follow us on Twitter because we will have a new follow goal, hopefully of pushing it to 50 followers. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. This has been DragonStar Productions. I'm out.